Dad, here you are. You had me worried.
Kaelyn and Rawl, this is a surprise.
Don't you know the wood is full of dangers? Why aren't you home?
I can see you were worried. Kaelyn, your dad's a tough old sparrowhawk. Believe it or not, I can take care of myself.
I've never been to this cave before. You've kept it a secret all these years. Why?
This cave is my old workshop. I never expected to be here again. Kaelyn, I'm a mage, or at least I used to be. Now I must try to recall what I knew of the magical arts. If I don't succeed, those creatures will soon overrun the forest and invade our villages.
Are you sure you're all right, Dad?
For the last time, yes, I'm fine. A few weeks ago, I went to get some supplies in Breland. On the way there, I saw a horrible thing. A wraith attacked a villager, sucked the life right out of him, leaving naught behind but a crumpled shell. Didn't you get my note?
Yes, we got it. How else could we have found you?
Of course, how foolish of me. This is a dire situation indeed. I had to find some answers. Given the nature of those answers, this seemed the place to go.
You're a mage. How could you hide this from me?
I was a mage. And due to circumstance and timing, I am again. I haven't practiced the arts for many years. Not since your mother died. When you were old enough to ask about her death, I told you she had drowned. That was not the case.
What really happened to my mother? The truth, Father.
I killed her. That is to say, I caused her death. I'd found a shard of the Mirror of Smoke and Dreams. I was studying it. No. I was trying to capture its power. I knew that 7 mages collaborated to create the mirror. But in my youth and hubris, I thought I could master it alone. I was wrong. The forces got away from me. It was chaos. A maelstrom warping reality. Safe in the eye of the storm, I struggled to unravel the magic before it unraveled me. Finally, the weave fell apart. In the sudden silence, I heard a broken whimper. Your mother. She'd come in to bring me lunch. The maelstrom caught her and broke her like a ship dashed upon the rock.
But she was alive?
Yes. You see around you the magic's effect on my workshop. Your mother was subject to the same forces. Her mind was twisted as cruelly as her body, except for brief, horrible moments of clarity. For 3 days and nights I tried to undo my terrible mistake. On the morning of the 4th day, your mother ceased her raving. For just a moment, she looked at me with recognition, and unbelievably with love. I could not prolong her agony. I fed her some calder leaf, and she died in my arms. On that day I renounced magic. Kaelyn, my pride and arrogance cost me our most precious treasure. Please forgive me.
A mage. My father. All this time I never knew.
And you never would have known but for the current threat.
What are these spectral creatures?
Wraiths. Ethereal entities that feed on souls. Mature wraiths collect souls to feed their offspring. The wraiths in our wood seem to be youngsters, capable of feeding on the souls directly. I don't know why they've come through to our world from Etheria, nor how they managed to stay alive for more than a few hours. Etheria is another dimension that intersects our own at specific fracture lines. It is the source of everything we call magical in our world. Ethereal magic energy called mana is the life force of the creatures from that world. When they cross into Ramar, whether by mischance or design, their mana gradually leaches away into our atmosphere. Without their mana, they soon suffocate. The further a creature is from a fracture, the faster he deteriorates. Or at least, that's what I thought.
Where are the fractures located?
The fractures occur at random. Since these areas have a high concentration of mana, it's easier to harness and use mana for magical purposes near a fracture. That's why most mages build their sanctums around them. A large fracture can generate fierce battles as mages compete for possession.
Can't they just make more fractures?
Don't think it hasn't been tried. More than one mage has lost his life in the attempt. But long ago, someone actually figured out a way to pass through into Etheria. Fractures days apart in our world might be right next to each other in Etheria, so a mage who knew what he was doing could, to all intents and purposes, travel instantaneously. If it weren't so dangerous a maneuver, fracture jumping might have become a common mode of transportation.
Fracture jumping sounds dangerous.
Right you are, Rawl. Wraiths are just the tip of the tree. Compared to other Etherian creatures, wraiths are lapdogs. Getting back to Ramar is also a problem. You can't open a fracture from inside Etheria, so you need a friend, preferably one you trust, to open an exit on our side. But the greatest danger is mana overload. The Etherian atmosphere is pure mana. Prolonged exposure affects a mage more than the strongest narcotic. If the will is weak, the raw magic overwhelms him, washing over and through his body, scorching him from the inside out.
Can someone who isn't a mage go into Etheria?
I suppose it's possible, theoretically. But it's rather a moot point. Ethereal travel has been outlawed for centuries, and the necessary knowledge long lost. The risks were just too great.
What is mana?
Mana is to Etheria what air is to our world. It permeates that dimension and enables life. The mana that passes into our world acts as a catalyst by which mages manipulate the forces in our reality. The higher the concentration of mana, the easier to shape these forces to our will. But this power is not without danger. Mana works on a mage like wine. It's all too easy to lose control, and when the magic you're shaping gets out of hand, the consequences are unpredictable and quite often disastrous. As well I know.
How can we protect ourselves from the wraiths?
That is what I blew the dust from my books to find out. At first I thought the wraiths would die within days from lack of mana. But somehow these creatures are shielded, so that their mana doesn't dissipate into our atmosphere. Without our intervention, they could devastate the entire region.
Tell us what we can do.
I've been working day and night trying to devise something to defeat the wraiths. Just last night I created an enchantment that I think will enable common weaponry to cut through the surrounding mana and do injury to the wraiths. If you two hadn't shown up just when you did, I would have gone out into the woods and tested it out for myself. As it is, I hope you'll take this old man's place on the field of battle.
Of course we will. Right, Kaelyn? Kaelyn?
Just tell us what we need to do.
Give me a weapon and I'll enchant it for use against the wraiths. I must warn you that the spell has not been perfected. It will probably weaken with use until it wears off completely. I wish I could guarantee your victory against the Wraith. You have courage to go out and fight the unknown. Would that I had the youth and strength to accompany you. Kaelyn, have you not a word of farewell for your father?
Goodbye.